What is going on, everybody? I am Edward Rouse, R-A-U-S, at Edward Rouse at Twitter, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Rants, the best time of the year. Because every week there's some special we get to do. Last week we filled out a bracket for you. That bracket's doing pretty well, actually. And this week, we get to preview the MLB season. Boom. Because it all goes down on Thursday. Well, it kind of went down in Japan for 2 days. Seattle is in first place in MLB as the first undefeated team ever this early in the season. Winning two of the 2 games in Japan, and of course Ichiro's sending off party, and that was awesome to watch. By the way, good for Ichiro to go out with the Mariners the way he came in, and the way he did in Japan was very wonderful. I didn't cry, I promise. Okay, maybe a couple tears. I don't know, maybe. It was sad. Okay, it was sad. But we have a fantastic preview for you tonight of the MLB season. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. It's going to make you excited for the season. It's going to make you sad for the season. It's going to make you wish baseball was here tomorrow. And it almost is. Opening day is just a few days away. Thursday. All day baseball, and then all night basketball. Oh, my goodness. What a day it's going to be. Cannot wait. We got baseball all day. The Padres play at 1. And then Oregon plays at 7. When they get their butts kicked, as you would, by the Virginia Cavaliers. That's my prediction anyways. I think Oregon's going to win. I kid. I think they're going to lose. I'm just happy they got this far. If they win, I will be crazy happy. More happy than I am now. But the chances of that, slim to none. Ugh. Part of the things about doing the show by myself and here at the studio here is I don't have a producer. So when my screen goes out, which it is now, as you can see, no screen. I don't have anyone that can come fix it for me. So you guys are going to have to deal with a no signal sign unless somehow later in the show when one of the guys are talking, I could go back behind me and fix the screen. You can see my beautiful logo behind me. You know what? We're not all perfect. We're not all perfect. Ask Tyreek Hill. Well, let's get on with this show because we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over each division by division, each team, and give you our insights on who we think is going to win the division or who's going to be the wild card. All the way to the World Series, who we think is going to win the World Series. I will guarantee you I will not predict that the Red Sox will go back-to-back because they're not. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be down on the Dodgers because, you know, it's another year of baseball. So, of course, I'm going to be down on the Dodgers. And more on that and all the crazy free agents that happened. Free agents from last year have already signed massive contracts in Trout and Arenado as well. And extensions to Verlander that just happened over the last few days. So much going on, but we're just going to do all baseball tonight, guys, just like we did last year around the same time. And hope you guys enjoy the program. So we're going to bring in 2 of the guys that are on the show regularly. And we're going to talk about our predictions for the rest of the year. And I'm going to have them chitter-chatter while I try to fix the screen back here because we're big time. Yeah, big time here at the Rouse Rant Center. Monday Night Rant Center here at the studio. What do you call it? Rousecast Studio. So, without further ado, let's bring in the guys. It's Josh Stanthill and Anthony Zaragoza.
What's going on, my man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
It's another day in paradise.
It is. I don't know if you guys know, but my screen has malfunctioned behind me, so we're already off to a great start. So why don't you guys chitter-chatter or tell each other a joke while I try to fix it from behind me, okay? Because we're real professional here on the show.
Let's get it.
Go. You guys, banter. Go. Banter now.
So if you guys weren't listening, Mr. Josh Stanhill, he's always on to the new baseball stuff. He drove all the way to San Francisco, the Bay Area, to get an exclusive of all the what's going on for all the Bay Area teams, the A's, the Giants, and now he's
okay, and we are fixed.
Man, I was about to get in right now.
Oh,
I was about to get in.
Oh, sorry, I did it. Sorry, I heard it was you talking, so I tried to fix it as fast as I could because I don't want you.
Oh no! Don't. You know what? Do I just put it on a tee? Is that what happens? I just put it on a tee, and you have to just knock it, huh?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's got to crush it.
Yes, exactly. No, it was perfect timing. I got that quick fix.
I was gonna give you a compliment, Josh, but you could forget about it now.
Oh, you could put it over your shoulder.
But I appreciate it though.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate nothing.
All right, question for you guys: are you guys excited about the baseball season?
Who isn't? That's a real question.
Mm-hmm. You know who's really excited about the baseball season?
Let's get it on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DMX, of course, is always excited for the baseball season.
Okay, to be honest, who's DMX rooting for? Who's his team?
That's going to be at the end of the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. I know he's always down for the one-on-one. So, you know.
That is a very true statement.
Yeah, he's always down for that. So we'll see where that goes towards the end of the show. Thanks to everyone for joining right now. Joining us, we got Joshua Brown, Dominique, Kathy, Mike, Janae, Derek, Nancy, Darrell, Melody, Perry, and Victor. Welcome to the show. And also at Rio Con, at my man, people and their Twitter names are crazy. But welcome to the show. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I made cool graphics for this. If you can't see, it says MLB Preview 2019. It's a beautiful picture of Aaron Judge and Jacob deGrom. Hey, Chris Diaz, welcome to the show. I'm going to go by each division, and I made graphics for each division, so it's going to be real professional, like straight daily show status. And we're going to talk about that division as we go. The first division we are going to talk about is Josh's favorite, and that is the division where everyone talks about, it seems, and that is the AL East.
That's right.
So, the AL East, the moves made, not a lot, really, this type of year, that you would think there would be more this type of year in the AL East with the Red Sox and the Yankees there. The Red Sox lost a lot of bullpen, The Yankees didn't really do much. They kind of standing strong. They have a good, solid team there. Tampa Bay, the same thing. I mean, they really haven't done much. They have a strong young team, but they seem to always be there. They did get rid of C.J. Cron, who was kind of like a home run hitter for them. So they're going to be speed. You got the Blue Jays. They did get, they have their prize prospect in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's going to start in AAA, will be up soon. Stroman's been pitching lights out in preseason. And then you have the other team, the Baltimore Orioles. So then you have the AAA team, which is pretty much, if you look at the starting lineup, that is exactly what they are. So, real quick, yeah, I know who Josh is going to say because he's obviously a Red Sox fan. But which team in the AL East, Josh, do you think is going to surprise people the most this year?
Tampa Bay.
Okay, and why?
Because, like you said, they're very quick. A lot of people will overlook them because it's a younger team. It's a quick team. There's not that many big names, or if there are big names, they've been around the league for a while. So you're talking about a team who always finds a way to be in that wild card talk. Mm-hmm. And there is a good chance for them to keep doing that. And they have a pitcher that I think we've heard of Blake Snell that came across last year.
Mm-hmm. And the trade for Glasnow.
In Glasnow, correct.
He's enjoying that rotation. He's still going to be good. He's still young. Everyone forgets how young he is. The problem with the Tampa Bay Rays is that they don't hit home runs. They were 27th in home runs last year, and they got rid of Cron, who hit over 20. And, and then they traded Jake Bowers as well. So they're going with Tommy Pham, Kiermaier, Malik Smith, Austin Meadows. They did pick up Mike Zunino, but he's hurt a lot, and he's going to get his 20, but he's also going to bat at the Mendoza line. So they're not going to hit a lot of home runs, and that could be a huge issue, especially in that division, to play keep up with a lot of those other teams. Anthony, real quick, which team do you think will disappoint in the AL East this year?
I don't want to say it because I know, like you said, Josh is going to be real excited, but I have a feeling the Yankees are going to disappoint, man. Just that pitching staff with Severino out for a while with that early injury. I just have a feeling that their starting pitching is not going to be up to par with that lineup. And, even though, outside of Sale with Boston, they got a real old starting pitching lineup, they still got a really solid staff with Sale. That lineup is really dangerous. I feel like the Yankees are probably going to disappoint some people for whatever reason.
Yeah, you know what? I don't all the way agree with you, but I do agree with you at the same time. I mean, they're going to score their runs, but you're right. There's injuries on the starting front, but I do like Paxton. I do like the one thing that bothers me about the division is the bullpen for the Red Sox, being able to hold on to games. I think that's their weakness. It's a glaring weakness. It's almost like Duke in the NCAA tournament. Their weakness is obvious. You can't shoot threes. If they make the Final Four, they'll be the worst three-point shooting team ever to make the Final Four, and I think it's the same way with Boston. If they win the division, they'll be the worst bullpen ever to win a division. I mean, it's not that great, and Kimbrel, who knows what he's doing. They've had some guys step in early last year, but who knows if they're going to repeat. Half these guys don't even know who's the closer is going to be. I think the weakness, and I think the team that's going to disappoint is the Boston Red Sox and not the Yankees. And I also think I agree with Josh that, of course, Tampa Bay is going to be the team that's going to surprise people. I also wouldn't put out the Toronto Blue Jays as a team that could surprise. Everyone's expected them to be below 500. They will, but I think they'll be better than people think. They do have a young team that they got a great catcher coming up in Danny Jansen. And, once Vlad Guerrero Jr. comes up, everyone's going to be like, yay! So, all the Toronto Blue Jays fans are going to be like,
hell yeah!
Yep, So, and the Baltimore Orioles, of course, they're in a long rebuild. This isn't a rebuild. This is a long rebuild. This could be a century-long rebuild.
And the thing with them is I don't even know if they're rebuilding. They just keep tearing it down. Like there's nobody. There's not a lot of young talent.
Team.
Yeah.
Yep. Their leadoff hitter is going to be Cedric Mullins, people. And Dylan Bundy is the last of the pitchers that they have that were prized prospects that are still on the team. It's going to be a long year, and they're going to get the first pick. That's the way it's going to go. I think they are the worst team by far. So my prediction, I think it's going to go Yankees, Red Sox, Tampa Bay, with Tampa Bay fighting for a wild card spot, Toronto Blue Jays, and Baltimore Orioles. Do you guys agree or disagree or have your own rankings there?
I'm going to go the same way, but I'm just flipping Boston, the Yankees. I just think Boston right now, obviously, when's the last time a team repeated? Probably been a long, long time. Mm-hmm. I just like what they have all together.
Okay, Josh?
Anthony.
Okay, so the same as Anthony. So we're pretty close there. We just flip-flopped the New York and the Boston. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about the Boston bullpen. I think it's going to get them into trouble, especially once the starter's out, once you get rid of Sale out of the game, once you get Price, once you get Eduardo Rodriguez, or I guess you don't need to get Rick Porcello out of the game, huh? You want him to stay in the game as long as you can. But
Mr. Porcello.
But we've also seen Boston make those key moves when they needed to help out whatever way.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be plenty of closers on the trading block from teams like Will Smith from the Giants or Kirby Yates from the Padres, who could be there come that time of the year that they can get to fill that gap as well. So moving on to the AL Central. Woo! Yeah. The Indians are in trouble, people. The Indians are in trouble, but just for a few weeks. Of course, they're without Lindor, who's going to be at the minimum 10 days. Huge scare with the star Jose Ramirez going out with he got carried off the field. It was this huge ordeal. And it turns out it's just the bruise. You would have thought he needed to go to the ER right away, the way that they acted about it. But I don't blame him. He's a stud. So, their strength is definitely their pitching, I think, still. You got Kluber, Bauer, Carrasco. Any one of those three can win the Cy Young. Carrasco's been quietly an ace for 4 years now, and he's the third. And you got Clevenger, too, so let's not go there. And you got, Bieber Fever as well. Their weakness has to be the outfield. The outfield is very weak to me. Getting rid of Brantley and Lonnie Chisenhall. And also getting rid, and then Andrew Miller and Cody Allen leaving as well. Let's not forget about that. So, really, they got Carlos Santana back. Woo, I like Jake Bowers this year as a sleeper, especially in fantasy. Pick him up late in your drafts. And you know what? The division got better. I think so because here come the Twins. They got Rosario, who's a stud. Kepler's been all those outfielders for the Twins have been hitting in spring training. Barrios is only going to get better. Kyle Gibson's been kind of decent, not bad, but their bullpen kind of lacks. Then you got the White Sox, who missed out on the big free agency. They gave Eloy Jimenez a huge contract. Why, I don't know. He hasn't really done much in the season. Which means he's going to start opening day because they don't have to worry about the rule anymore, the minor league rule for the extra year. So he's going to be up there one. So if you draft him, see how it works out. And then you got the Tigers and the Royals, who pretty much their strength is we're gonna get on base or we're gonna steal bases. So you keep us off base and you'll be us. That's pretty much their team because they got Whit Merrifield, Mondesi, and now Billy Hamilton on that team. They're just gonna steal bases all day, and that's all they're gonna do, pretty much. So, Anthony, which team do you think will surprise in the AL Central here?
No, I think you kind of talked about just Minnesota. I think they added a lot of nice pieces. I think just overall depth-wise, there's not a lot of huge names, but I think altogether, just some really solid guys. I like that outfield with Eddie Rosario. I think Byron Buxton's finally going to kind of step out of that whole. He had an off years, as a young guy last year, but him there. Kepler's really good. Nelson Cruz, I think, is going to be a huge addition for them.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Scope, who had an off year with the Orioles last year, I think he's going to step in. Marlon Gonzalez. They got a lot of nice new pieces there. And I feel like, with that pitching staff, even though it's kind of young and maybe not as strong, I think they can make some noise with what they got going on. So I like Minnesota this year.
Me too. I also like C.J. Cron coming over there, too. More power. They definitely added power with Scope, Cruz, and Cron to that team.
Exactly.
So there's going to be a lot of power, a lot of runs scored. It's just if the pitching can keep up. And Trevor May could be a really good addition to your fantasy leagues to get over 35 saves this year from that bullpen as well. Josh, I'm going to ask you the opposite of that. Which team is going to disappoint in the
Tigers.
Oh, well, were they going to surprise? I mean,
yeah. Who are they going to?
You can't really get lower than the Tigers, though. I guess if you're the Orioles, it's the only way you can, but that's about it.
Okay, yeah, I actually have them, so that makes sense because I actually don't have them being in the cellar in the division, so I will give you that. But, yeah, they are, the Tigers really, Miguel Cabrera, who knows? Castellanos moved to the outfield was the greatest thing. He's going to hit over 300 for the first time this year. They have a good, with Nico Goodrum and Christian Stewart. They got some promise there too as well. But it's rebuild mode, and it's going to be for a while. So, let's look up for that new pick. So what I have here, guys, is I have the Cleveland Indians, number 1, number 2, the Minnesota Twins, but not far behind. It's going to be a close race, I think, all the way to the end. And then way behind them, I have Chicago actually edging out Detroit. And Detroit over the Kansas City stolen bases. You guys agree?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's saving the Indians is they're probably in the weakest division in all of MLB. And when you have that scare with Ramirez, Lindor's gonna be out for a while. That's what's saving them. That pitching staff is gonna be able to carry them through. But outside of them, Minnesota's exciting, but you never know with new pieces. So I like them that same order just because there's not a lot of other teams in that division that are really exciting me at all.
And I'm going to say Josh has the same motor, except Kansas City and Detroit flipped.
I hope.
I mean, it's exactly the same way. I mean, you can't. No, I'm not even going to touch it.
Okay. Yeah, the bottom half of that division's pretty bad. Probably
It's
the worst.
rough.
Yeah. Moving on to an underrated division where all the teams have actually gotten better this year, and that is the AL West, of course. Last year, the Oakland A's surprised the world, going to the playoffs in that wild card game. You got the Astros, who gained Michael Brantley, which is crazy, and they really didn't give up much. They did lose Keuchel, who knows what he's going to do, and then I think Lance McCullers is out with Tommy John still, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. But they got young pitchers in Forrest Whitley, Josh James that can step in immediately too, along with Garrett Cole and Verlander. Again, 2 Cy Young caliber pitchers. Either one of them can win the Cy Young. They did pick up Wade Miley, which I don't know why. I don't expect him to be on the team by the end of the year. But you know what? This team is loaded. They got firepower all over, and even when a down year with Correa, the team still continues to win games. And I expect to bounce back from him and Bregman to be even better. This team's loaded. They're loaded. They don't need a catcher. Who needs a catcher? No one needs a catcher. Your fantasy team doesn't even need a catcher. So that's how I have it there. And then you got the Angels, who I think are kind of underrated, with Cole Calhoun, Justin Upton, and Mike Trout as the great strength of a great outfield. Their weakness is pitching. You got Tyler Skaggs in there. You got Heaney, who's great, but he's also starting the year on the DL. It looks like they did pick up a great closer in Allen, Cody Allen. So, but you know what? Matt Harvey and Trevor Cahill is going to be interesting. So we'll see how that works as well. You got the Oakland Athletics, who are pretty much the same team, but already dealing with bad injuries. Of course, Matt Olson. He's going to be out for a while. And then their stud, Jesus Luzardo, who I actually picked to be the AL Rookie of the Year before the injury, is also out. So that's going to be very disappointing because he's probably going to have a huge innings restriction when he comes back now instead of being able to be a stud for them. Seattle Mariners already played those 2 games. They look really good and promising. I love Domingo Santana this year and Malik Smith and Mitch Haniger, who was a stud last year. Kyle Seager is out, but their pitching is going to be great. I love Kikuchi. I think he's going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Everyone forgets that he's a rookie, even though he's older. He's from Japan. And you got the Rangers, who have a ton of promise in Mazzara, and of course you got Odor and Andrus. Odor has a hell of a left, but their pitching staff, of course, is really terrible. So, Josh, which team in the American League West is going to surprise you?
The surprise this year is going to be the Mariners.
Okay, and why?
And the reason why is because, like you said, the Japanese pitcher that they have is going to be like the Ohtani last year. He's going to come out. No one's going to understand how he throws, and he's going to do really well.
And then he's going to hit 300 and 20 home runs. No,
I mean,
he won't be doing that.
I don't see that happen. Yeah, correct. But I do see him pitching lights out. They have some really good pieces that they added, and I think they're going to be a little bit more on the rise this year than people believe.
Okay. Anthony, who disappoints?
I'm going to have to say the Angels. It just seems like every year they got some promise, and then they always just disappoint, especially now with that huge contract that's going to go to Trout. I feel like a lot of attention goes to him, which is deservingly. And I don't know. It's just their pitching staff always gets just destroyed with injuries. That's probably going to happen again. They got a lot of veteran guys on there, but they're really old. Albert Pujols is still there. Like I said, Kyle Calhoun's good, but he's up there in the 30s. I just feel like they're a team that really needs to be just broken down. They got a lot of young prospects that I like on there. Joe Adell is kind of hurt right now, but I think he should be up hopefully later in the year, if not next year. He's a guy to keep an eye on. So they got a lot of young pieces that I think they need to start getting towards, and this is kind of going to be that transition year for them. So I feel like they're going to go in with a solid team, but they're going to disappoint when it comes to the wins in this season.
Okay. Yeah, I disagree. I think the Angels are actually a team that's going to surprise this year. with that.
Man.
I do. I think Matt Harvey is he's gonna be on it. People are gonna have Matt Harvey on their fantasy teams by midway through the season.
Batman.
Yep.
Actually,
think
it's the Dark Knight.
the Dark Knight. Yeah. I do like Mike Trout with that contract. I think he's gonna play. I think it's like off his shoulder. I think it's gonna actually have him playing better. And just with that lineup and everything, and then Joe Adell getting called up as well. They also have a great second base prospect in the minor leagues that will get called up. I like the Trevor Cahill as kind of a fifth. And don't forget about Barria, who came up last year and pitched well with 10 wins and a 3.4 ERA as a rookie. They're going to rise this year, and I think the team's going to be kind of like low-key be pushing the Houston Astros actually for second in that division. I think the team that I have that disappoints is actually the Oakland Athletics. I think everyone's expecting them to do what they did last year, and I thought last year was kind of an anomaly, and especially with the injuries they're already getting. I just think they're going to just not get to that level, so ultimately everyone who's an A's fan, sorry, Anthony, will be disappointed.
You're not sorry.
No, I know, but they're not going to repeat. They're already getting hurt. I just don't like the pitching. I don't believe in Blake Trinan. I don't think he's that great of a closer. I think he's kind of overrated. And I just don't think the team is as good as everyone thinks they are.
No, yeah. If I take my A's hat off right now and just put on, just a normal hat, last year was just a magical season. I think with the guys that they had on there, they super outperformed what they were supposed to. And I feel like this year, like you said, with the injuries, Olsen, Luzardo, AJ Puck, who was supposed to pitch for him last year, is going to, coming back from Tommy John.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just a lot of negatives right now towards that team. And, I like some of the moves they made in the offseason. I think, Profar is going to be really good for that lineup. But, man, it's just when you look at the Astros, and it's going to be hard for them to compete with them. So wild card is going to be kind of a toss-up. But, yeah, I kind of have to agree with you.
Yep.
A's hat back on.
There it is. So I have the Astros, followed by the Los Angeles Angels, followed by the Mariners, then the Athletics, followed by the Rangers.
Wow, that hurts, man. The fourth?
Sorry, bud. That's how I see it. That's how I see
Oh,
it.
man.
That's what my research told me.
I have to concur with that too.
There you go. There's a second. There's a
Okay,
second.
so when did you learn the word concur is what I want to know.
You can't touch this.
When I was in 5th grade.
You're a liar.
You can't touch
You know what? It doesn't even matter what I say. I got something similar to that. Astros, I think, are just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. And it's going to be a mixture. The Angels, Athletics, Mariners, I see any of those guys finishing 2, 3, and 4. And then the Rangers, they're just 2 back as far as when it comes to talent. I just don't think they're there yet.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Sounds like
also,
somebody's got a case of
remember,
the Mondays.
Houston, the reason why Houston's going to be great, too, is Verlander just got a 2-year extension, just given to him the other day. And the only reason why I actually listened to the manager of Houston, the only reason why they picked out Wade Miley is because they liked his technique that it was coming through Milwaukee, and they were trying to pick him up right before Milwaukee did because they think they can improve even more on his pitching.
Did you get that information on the road right now?
I got this.
Well, Lottie frickin' da!
It's Wade Miley. Although I do appreciate the info. That's great research, Josh. But it's still Wade Miley.
Breaking news on the road. Breaking news on the road.
It's still Wade Miley. I'm sorry.
You cannot talk about the Astros and bring up Wade Miley right now.
It is.
There's so many good players.
I agree with you, and and also Keuchel is in talks to sign a 1 to 2 year deal with Houston, so it's looking like he's coming back.
That'd be awesome for them too. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the NL. We're gonna go on to the NL East. The big news here is, of course, the switch from teams from Mr. Bryce Harper going over to Philadelphia from Washington. And Washington with the huge contract for Patrick Corbin, going with that wonderful 1-2 punch with Max Scherzer. And the young outfielders they have with Soto and, of course, Robles. Of course, they have always had kind of issues with catching. They picked up Yan Gomes, and they filled some of the holes that they needed, I think, and kind of upgraded in a way while losing Harper. So I kind of think they're about the same team they're going to be last year with that. The Atlanta Braves, the young, yet they mixed a lot of good veterans in there as well with Markakis and Josh Donaldson. You know, how many games will Josh Donaldson play? Over, under 50? I don't know. But, you know, it's a good mix there. I like that team. Of course, Philadelphia adding Real Muto in a huge trade, getting Harper. Boost. Aaron Nola could be a perennial Cy Young Award candidate this year. And that's awesome for them. Of course, Rhys Hoskins trying to build up on what he did last year. Carlos Santana is out, but, you know, they don't like him anyways because they like their Fortnite in Philadelphia. So,
oh, yeah. Hey, you got to love Fortnite, man.
Yeah.
Fortnite is in right now.
Yeah. And then, you know, the Mets getting Cano, getting Edwin Diaz. Like, every team, well, except for Miami, but every team did what they could to make their team better in what situation that they had. The Mets have a great first baseman in Pete Alonso coming up, who led all Major League, including AAA, AA, everything in RBIs last year, who's going to probably make the team and start at first on Monday, who was a stud. Ahmed Rosario is going to lead off this year. He's a stud. The Mets team, do not overlook him. And the Miami Marlins, well, if you can name 9 players who are going to start for them, congratulations. You must live in Miami.
9 players?
If you can name the 9 players that are going to be in their starting lineup.
I would say
will
half
tell you
of
this,
that.
they're
Give me 5 players from that Marlins team, and I'm impressed.
Good luck.
The one thing that Derek Jeter said that they're going to do is they're going to improve their park. That's about it.
Well, good for him. What are they going to make, another statue that glows pink that has dolphins shooting water out of their butts?
Possibly.
When someone hits a home run, who's going to hit a home run on the team? They got rid of all the home run hitters. Who's Brian Anderson? No. Starlin Castro's
Dietrich.
not hitting home runs. Starlin Castro's not hitting. Who's hitting home runs on that team? Nobody. Nobody on the Marlins is going to hit home runs. They're going to, if anything, he's conserving water. He built his team to help conserve the water shortage by nobody hitting home runs, so no one has to see those stupid dolphins flipping up and down, shooting water out of their mouths.
He's helping Disney World out.
Yeah.
Disney World. Jeez Louise.
Well, we have 2 options. We go to Disney World or go to a Marlins game. Disney World it is.
They get more water.
Yeah. Jesus. Terrible. He's doing a terrible job, in my opinion. Sorry, Marlins fans, but he is. Although I do like the new logo. It's way better than what it was before. So I guess he did something right. All right, guys. Anthony, who's going to be the surprise team in the NL East?
You know what? I don't want to say they're going to be surprised, but I think a lot of people are kind of getting super excited about Philadelphia just because of all the additions they made. But I think Washington, I think they're going to go out and win this division. I think last year was tough on them, but like you mentioned, they got a young outfield. I like Rendon still there. Trey Turner is going to be a nice piece there, building off from his great year last season. And that pitching staff, I think, with Strasburg, with Scherzer, and then now with Corbin, like if you got a 3-game series with those guys, it's gonna be tough to beat them. So I think, you know, everybody's getting all the hoopla with, you know, Philadelphia, which deservingly so. They made a lot of good moves, but you know, sometimes, you know, when you're making a lot of moves in free agency, is because your team wasn't that good to begin with, and Washington was real quiet. And you know, they got Corbin just because they already had a nice nucleus. They had really good prospects in Soto and Robles, so now they're going to take it to the next level. So I think not necessarily going to be a surprise, but they're going to be the team that no one's talking about right now, and they're just going to go out there and win the division this year.
Like it. Love it, love it, love it. Josh, who is your disappointment of the NL East?
I'm gonna say the Nationals. I'll tell you why.
You're going to get a knuckle sandwich.
That's okay. Strasburg, they have a problem with injuries. And Strasburg, Trey Turner, I mean, Eaton, you could keep going down the list. They all have problems staying healthy. So that's why I say they're going to disappoint. I mean, Rendon, Soto, I mean, they're all great hitters. But what happens after you have that 1-2 punch? Who do you got, who do you got if Strasburg's hurt? It's going to be hard to really control the division. And that's why I say they're on a disappointment.
I feel like this show has turned into Around the Horn, where someone's correct. I give you a little ding if you're wrong. I should give you points. to that. First of all, let me say, I think this division is going to be the hardest division to win of all the divisions. 4 of the 5 teams can win this division. I think the most, which I think team is going to be the surprise team is the New York Mets. They have the best closer in baseball. I think Robinson Cano is going to have a fantastic year. Ahmed Rosario is a stud leadoff. Pete Alonso coming up. They got Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, Steven Matz, all coming back from a unit that was 6th in starters ERA combined last year. If they stay healthy, I love Michael Conforto, Brandon Nimmo, Juan Lagares, all crazy good last year, especially in points fantasy leagues. Great. I just think, for some reason, I just have a feeling they're going to somehow win this division. I just
What? Don't put it on the board. Do not put it on the board.
That is me. I have Mets, Phillies. I have Mets, Phillies, Braves, Nationals, Marlins.
And I have,
that's me.
I'll tell you mine. I have Mets, Braves, Philly, National, Marlins.
Are you guys just trying to make headlines right now? Is this what's going on?
No, I like this Mets team. I just really do. The injuries, he's right. The injuries with Washington scares me. I don't think Washington makes the playoffs. I think Washington gets towards, this is going to be the toughest division. It can swing anyways. I like Atlanta Braves. How long until Josh Donaldson's out of there and they bring up Riley as a rookie? He's going to have his struggles at third. Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, second-year players, so I'm not always high on. And that pitching staff, when your ace is Teheran opening day, there's issues there. Yeah. And Tuki Toussaint is already getting hurt. I just don't like the pitching there. I think all around. And then Philadelphia, after Aaron Nola and Jake Arrieta, who do you have? The Mets are the best team in the division. On paper.
They are.
Preseason, the Mets are the best team on paper in that division. So
we're making a bet. Okay. We're making a bet.
All right.
Coming up.
Okay.
And it's gonna involve both you guys. You guys are drinking the Kool-Aid right now, and just keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. That's all I'm asking.
I'm just doing my research before the season starts. The moves the Mets made, who they got on paper, the Mets have the best overall team between bullpen, starting pitchers, hitters, outfielders, defense. Overall, they're the best team in the division on paper.
And you know what?
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I can't hate on you, Edward, because typically when you do your research and you watch all the film, you're the kind of guy that calls Oregon to the Sweet 16.
I did.
You're the guy who brings up these stuff, and I'm just the one that's just drunk talking out of my butt. That's what I'm doing right now.
Let me also add. I don't know if Edward did say this, but Jed Lowry's on that team too.
Yeah, he's going to start off the year on the IR, but yeah, he's going to be there too. The team's loaded. I mean, the team's loaded. I
don't see it that way. Call me, I guess. I don't know. There's some goggles you guys have on right now.
And then remember, Wilson Ramos was signed as well as their catcher, a good hitting.
The Mets have to have so
catcher.
much good happening, and then the Nationals, Phillies have to have a lot of bad to happen for that scenario to come to fruition. And I just don't know. That's a lot. Oh, I know.
I slightly disagree.
Okay, I know. We're gonna make something.
Whichever one of the 4 teams remains the healthiest wins the division. I think it's going to be the Mets.
There you go.
That's the way I got to put it because they all have their injury woes.
You know what? I feel like the Nationals are going to win it. Philly's going to come in second. I think it'll be one of the wild card spots. Atlanta, I think there's going to be a little bit of regression from that magical year they had here. They have a lot of young guys, but I think they're going to kind of regress a little. Then I got the Mets in 4th. So there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the other minor league team 5th in that division.
Now, I don't want to bet Mets or anybody. I will bet you. You say Washington, I say Mets. I say we bet Washington versus Mets. If it's not one of those 2 teams, it's a push.
Oh, okay. It's either or. Either they win it or...
Yeah. If the Miami Marlins win, then we all get Miami Marlins tattoos on our forehead.
No, then we need to quit this show and never talk about baseball ever again, if that's what happens. All right, we got something going on. Okay, I'd like to start on this. We'll figure some specifics, and we'll bring it out the next show.
We'll have a bet.
What's going to happen.
The bet's going to be the Mets versus the Nationals. Who will win the NL East? We got to move on.
And you know what, you guys listening right now, you guys have any suggestions? Did not include tattoos because my wife's not going to appreciate it. Definitely suggest some stuff, and then maybe we'll pick something that you guys talk about.
All right, yeah, sounds good. We don't want to do money. We want to do something that's on air. That could
and embarrasses Edward and Josh because they're going to lose.
I don't think so, buddy.
Or Or Anthony
Again,
will just make
Anthony,
it his
you,
Instagram.
I guess you're due. I guess in a way.
Dude, I already lost
He's
that.
very
that
due.
Dude, I lost the Jahi and Sonny Michelle bet. Come on now. I'm always losing.
Hey, Anthony, what team is a Jahi on?
He's on the FA team.
Yeah, the AAF team. That's where he's going to be playing next year.
Let's keep going. Let's go to the next division. Come on, let's go to the next division. We got to talk about this stuff. Get out
All
of
right,
here.
NL Central, boys. The surprise team last year, of course, the Milwaukee Brewers. What a great end of the season they had. It just fell just short of going to the World Series. Christian Yelich, MVP. Lorenzo Cain getting older. Ryan Braun really getting older. Of course, they had Aguilar had a great year, but already losing Corey Knebel already to the DL is going to hurt him, although haters filled him for him last year. Mike Moustakas, what a great re-sign. He quietly had a good year, too. And they got Yasmani Grandal, so they got better, in my opinion, the Milwaukee Brewers. They got some young pitchers pitching in the back of their bullpen. I mean, the back of their rotation, I'm sorry, in Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. Both of them are pretty solid, though, and a good fantasy pickups as well in your late round drafts. I especially like Corbin Burns. Also, the Cubs, they're the same team. They're still the same team. They didn't do much. They're the same people. If they can repeat like they did a couple years ago, they'll be good. If they do what they did last year, they'll be bad. And that is have their rotation get hurt. Although Lester is getting older, he's not the way he used to be, and Darvish just needs to stay healthy. The Cardinals, huge pickup in Paul Goldschmidt. He's a perennial MVP candidate on that. Paul DeYoung, I love him, especially in DFS. I'm going to be all over him this year. They got Andrew Miller as well, and I love myself some 102-mile-an-hour Jordan Hicks coming out of the bullpen as well. And don't forget about Harrison Bader. They need to lead him off and not hit him eighth all the time, but, I'm not a coach, so what do I know? Cincinnati Reds, of course. Joey Votto's getting old. Scooter Gennett, big injury, out 8 weeks. Jose Peraza, same type of team there. A great second half from Castillo. We'll see if he can hold it together, but not much after that in the starting pitching realm there. They did get Sonny Gray, Tanner Roark, but I don't know if that's going to do anything for me there. And then you got the Pittsburgh Pirates. Adam Frazier, which I love, getting the everyday second baseman role. Love him as a sleeper pick, especially in fantasy. And you got great catcher in Savelli. Not a great hitter, but great catcher. And Starling Marte will be Starling Marte. Polanco, who knows if he'll even play this year. That injury is bad. So they're kind of on the bottom for me. Josh, which team is going to be a surprise this year in this beautiful, wonderful the Centrals are terrible in the NL Central.
I would say probably the surprise is going to be the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hit it right on the nail. You got the Goldschmidt. You have Ozuna. You got a really good outfield if you don't count Dexter Fowler. But Bader, I mean, it's a very good hitting team. Malakas is great. And with the Andrew Miller, everything's starting to kind of piece together for them, that I think this is going to be a surprise year. They're going to start making a little bit more noise this year, and you'll start seeing that rivalry game against the Cubs a little bit more intense and closer games this year.
Okay, I'm with you there. I'll give you my when Anthony's done. Anthony, what is your disappointing team in the wonderful NL Central?
I'm gonna have to say it's the division winner from last year, the Brewers. I just feel like that pitching staff I don't like at all.
Joyless Chaucin.
That's you start looking at these guys, Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta has some good stuff.
Well, Burns is a high prospect. He's actually a young prospect who's going to be okay. Yeah. But the rest of those guys, yeah, they've already had their chance.
Brandon Woodruff.
He's a prospect too. Yeah, he's a young guy too.
And that's what I'm saying. You have a lot of question marks with guys that are. It's just, if you're going to compete, for a division title, it's just obviously if they all pan out, it's great. But I just don't like. There's just too many question marks. I like Travis Shaw in that lineup. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the reigning NL MVP, Christian Yelich is going to have another great year. But I just I don't know. I like the Cubs, even though, like you said, they've had the same lineup for 2 years because they've done a good job, with their minor league guys, and they're kind of just set in their ways with Yu Darvish and Lester and whatnot. But I think the Cubs and St. Louis are going to be battling it, and I think the Brewers are going to just kind of take a step back, which is not going to say they're not going to win a lot of games. I just don't think they're going to make it out of those top 2 teams right there. So I don't know. A lot of question marks on that team.
Mm-hmm. Great. And then also I want to say, look out for the Reds offense as a surprise.
I agree.
I expect the Reds to score a lot of points this year because don't forget Matt Kemp and Puig going over there in the Great American Ballpark, the Great American Home Run Ballpark, which is very offensive friendly.
And Alex Wood.
Oh yeah,
is pitching, but
yeah, don't forget about that.
don't forget about Alex Wood
yeah.
and Wade Miley. Don't ever forget those guys.
Yeah. So I actually have the Cubs, the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Pirates in that order. I talked about the Pirates already. I don't think we need to talk about them much more. Do you guys agree with that aspect?
No, I'm going to go with the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Brewers, and then the Reds and the Pirates on this one.
Okay, so you're just swapping those two. Josh?
Yeah.
No, I agree with Eddie on this one. I think the move, like you said, the runs that the Reds are going to make is going to put them ahead of the Pirates this year.
There you go. Wow. The Pirates, they're going to be looking at a top 5 pick, I guess, in the Major League Baseball draft. Whew. Although they do have Archer. Let's not forget about Archer. I think he's going to have a bounce back year, especially when he gets to go up against some of the teams in the West more than the AL East. So I like Archer as a kind of a bounce back for the Pirates.
Definitely. I think he, like you said, appeal of not playing with all those big dogs, the Red Sox, the Yankees. Archer's going to have a sleepy season right there. So if you're looking for someone in late rounds, Chris Archer's a nice pick up there.
Okay. All right, let's move to the division that birthed a clown by the name of Jugs last year, the NL West. In this same segment last year, I made a bet that the Dodgers would not win the division, and I was 2 innings away from that happening. And 2 innings. That's how close I was. And it did not happen. Of course, they all made it all the way to the World Series and got embarrassed. But the Dodgers added injury-prone A.J. Pollock. They added... I'm looking at the list here. Wait a minute.
It takes a while.
I just named it, what they added. There you go. Oh, Russell Martin.
That's it.
Let's not forget about Russell Martin. That's it. The Dodgers did jack squat. They got none of the big free agencies. They lost Grandal. They lost Kemp. They lost Puig. They lost Machado. Corey Seager's coming off an injury. Can Bellinger produce again? He had kind of a bit down year after a great start last year. Jock Peterson's a 200 hitter that hits 20 home runs. Can Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, and Max Muncy, these who guys, continue to do it? Kershaw's not who he was. Can Bueller have a second year, or is he going to be Bueller's year off? Huh? And is Kenley Jansen going to have heart problems? Question marks, question marks, question marks. Red flags, red flags, red flags all over the Dodgers once again. Once again. And tell me I'm wrong. It's actually worse this year than it was last year at the same point. Colorado Rockies, Daniel Murphy. David Dahl stepping up. Their offense is going to score runs, man. Let me tell you. They're pitching better than it has been. We'll see if it continues to be pretty decent and get them to the... Sorry, stop mentioning me, people. The promised land. The Padres. Manny Machado. Young players. Chris Paddock, who crushed tonight. Again, going to make the rotation. I may have to change my Rookie of the Year to him now that he's going to make the rotation because he's been that great and that lights out in the preseason. They're pitching not as bad as everyone thought they were. Kirby Yates, first time over 30 saves. Tatis Jr., Mejia, Urias. Solid all the way there. I'll go with the Giants last because I know there's a lot of Giants fans that watch this show. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Lost Corbin, kind of sucked. Still got Greinke. You know, I think Taiwan Walker comes back from Tommy John surgery this year. I think that's a good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be great for them as well. But man, they're gonna losing Goldschmidt, losing Pollock. Of course, their offense is going to really struggle, and by really, I mean they're really going to struggle. And I think it's between them and Giants. I'll ask more on that later. Yeah, their offense is farly subpar, but the uniforms are cool, so that's pretty good. Anthony, who surprises in the NL West this year?
You know what? I don't want to steal your thunder because I know it's your team, but it just because of all the young guys you mentioned, I think the Padres surprised some guys. They got a really intriguing staff right now with, like you said, Chris Paddock. I think Joey Lucchesi. I like him this year. And then I think all those young guys you said in that lineup, I think they got
They're
a
raking
lot
in
of
spring
momentum.
training. They're all raking.
they
Fermil
are,
Reyes, Hunter Renfroe, Tatis, Machado's picking it up after he was late to the party. Everyone's raking it.
Edward Rouse.
Yeah. They're actually, I think they're still the best record. I know it means nothing. They're the Cleveland Browns of the preseason, but I think they have the best record in the in the Cactus League. But they're raking.
No, and I think because of how bad the NL West is this year, it just seems like there's not a lot of excitement as far as, look at the Dodgers. They've been to the World Series 2 years in a row, and you look at their team this year with Kershaw, all of his issues that he's had so far. It's almost anybody's game. And if there's a team that excites me, it's the Padres. They go out there and get, the middle of their lineup and Manny Machado. I just feel like they have a lot of pieces that can make something happen this year. So I think for your sake, you're definitely hoping for that. But I'm really excited to see what these Padres do on the field this year.
Yeah, me too. Josh, which team disappoints?
The Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks disappoint. Like you said, you have. I can't even really name that many players that are on the Diamondbacks now because they traded them all away, or they get they gave away a lot of people. Their core runs are not going to happen. It's just
they're not going to score any runs. That team's
they're not going to score any runs. I think you're in the same boat of stealing bases and stuff like that. That's going to be what they're going to try to do this year, but it's just going to be a long season. They're going to depend so much on that pitching, and Archie Bradley is going to be suspect. Depends on how he's feeling of how good he's going to do.
Well, he's not even the closer anymore. They've already dropped him. He's
my point.
Yeah, so he's going to be the long reliever, which is fine. It's great for points leagues if you have him, because he's going to pitch 3 innings and strike out 6. But yeah, the closer role actually, who did it go to? It went to somebody. I remember. I was like, who? What's his name? So you have that as well. So I'm going to say this. I think the Diamondbacks actually get last in the division. I'm going to say the Giants have just enough with some of the pitching, the ballpark they play in, some of the guys who have done it before for them. And Joe Panic, Crawford, Buster Posey, Brandon Belt. Man, it seems like the Giants have been the same team forever, and they just never get younger and just get older. And that's exactly who they are.
They sell tickets that way. They
sell out
those
every
old names.
Congratulations for that. But it's going to be tough for them this year. Yes. My third place team is going to surprise everybody.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
My third place team is the Los Angeles Dodgers of California.
There it is.
The question marks and the red flags are there. I've already named them. Can Jock Peterson, who's been terrible, Justin Turner, Chris Taylor, and Max Muncy continue the run? Is Max Muncy going to have another year like he did last year? Chris Taylor, all these guys that came out of nowhere, it's not sustainable. Their pitching staff, Kershaw's already having issues. It's just Maeda's older, Ryu's older. It's like the Ross Stripling, besides Bueller, and Bueller's coming off a second year where people may figure him out a little bit. The bullpen's not as good. Kenley Jansen has health issues. They don't have Grandal. Who are they going to catch? Russell Martin and Austin Barnes? Sorry. Don't buy it. Corey Seager coming off an injury. Cody Bellinger was never the same after his rookie year. Yeah, you got Alex Verdugo maybe be called up, but if you're calling up your Alex Pollock, is he going to be healthy? Does he have a bone left that hasn't been broken in his body? They're not going to. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Anthony Zaragoza is going to help me with this.
No.
We're going to create a poll. We're going to create a poll.
Oh, I like where this is going.
And the poll is going to be multiple choice of things that I can dress up as. We're gonna choose 4 things. And we're gonna send out a poll. And if the Dodgers win the division, I will dress up as one of those things.
We can make that happen.
Now, these have to be things that you could get at a local Halloween store because this happens around Halloween, the playoffs. So it could be Naughty Nurse.
Or Amazon, right?
Amazon.
Or Amazon.
Yeah. Naughty Nurse.
Oh, no, Edward.
I'm telling you, we'll pick 4, whatever. That's how confident I am that the Dodgers will not win the division.
You know you're going to have a daughter, right?
I do. Yes. She will not be in the room at the time.
You think that's going to be a good picture for her to see? Her first year as in existence, her dad dressing up as a naughty nurse.
She's not going to be in here. I'm just giving an example. But I'll let you guys come up with the 4 things. Bring them to me. You each pick 2. And then we'll do a poll on Twitter, on Facebook. And whatever wins, if the Dodgers win the division, that's how confident I am again this year. This year I'm even more confident than I was last year. I will do it. But I guarantee you, they won't do it. Second, I have the Padres. First, I have the team we haven't really been talking about, and that's the Colorado Rockies. Offense. Their pitching's better. Love David Dahl this year. Ryan McMahon. Losing DJ LeMahieu, no problem. Bring in Daniel Murphy. Garrett Hampson's going to steal 30 bases, hit 20 home runs. They were within 1 game tiebreaker of winning the division last year to the Dodgers. They're not going to need that this year, baby, because they're going to the playoffs. Kyle Freeland, Tyler Anderson, John Gray, and don't forget Herman Marquez as well. Nolan Arenado is going to be an MVP this year, and Trevor Story is going 30-30. The Colorado Rockies win the division, and it's not even close. So that's my order. What do you guys got?
You know what? Just because you're so adamant the Dodgers aren't going to win the division, I got them number 1 win the division. It's a bad division. The Rockies, it seems like every year they start off strong and then they just start to falter for whatever reason. They got better arms. I like that rotation better than they've had in years past, but I don't want to put cliche and say, well, the Rockies are going to choke, but I just feel like they are. I like the Padres finishing 3rd. I think they're going to do better than they have, but
Padres in the 2nd.
I'm going to go Padres 3rd because I got the Dodgers winning it there, Josh. Wait your turn, bud. Wait your turn.
Oh, okay.
Wait your turn. So I got the Padres 3rd, which I like what they're doing. Give me the Padres in 2 years. Not necessarily next year, but in 2 years, I want to see how that team's going to look like because they got a lot of young guys, and I feel like if they get 1 year under their belt, that's going to be nasty in a year or so. The Diamondbacks, I feel like they're just not exciting at all, and it's going to be too much for Greinke to be able to put on his shoulders. And then the Giants, it seems like they go for every free agent. They miss out on every free agent, but their fans keep on going. They're going to keep all these old guys on that team to sell tickets, and they're going to finish last and probably finish top 5 in attendance.
Let's got some breaking news real quick. That it just came out of Padres camp that Chris Paddock will make the team out of spring training and will start on Sunday for them. So they're good for the Padres for not going by that rule where they can go down for a month and call them back up. They're
Rule 5 rule.
The Rule 5 rule. Chris Paddock will make the team, will start on Sunday for the San Diego Padres. So pick him up, trade for him. He's going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate for sure in the NL this year. Josh, is your order pretty similar to mine, or who do you have?
I'm actually similar to Anthony's, but switching the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks end up last.
So you had the Dodgers winning over Colorado?
No, I have Dodgers in 2nd.
So you have Colorado winning. Gotcha. That's what I figured. Okay. Cool.
So you followed him. Hey, stop following your brother, Josh.
No, I have Padres second. Dodgers
He has
third because I'm
Padres
trying to
second.
make a point that the Dodgers are not good and it's not sustainable what they're doing.
So I am different than both of you, just so you know.
Correct.
We're different than each other.
Yes.
There you go.
Boom. Okay. Dodgers do not win the division or whatever the poll is going to be. We'll put it out tomorrow or this week, and we'll get it.
That's going to be hilarious.
We're going to keep on retweeting it. And I want over 200 people to vote on what I'm going to wear, and we'll make it known.
Oh, we're going to get more than that. Trust me.
Oh,
We're gonna
try to
way
get 500.
more.
I'm going to throw it to the people over at the Fantasy Baseball Invitational, and let's see what they can do for you.
Oh, great. Perfect. Let's get all them involved. I'll
Yes.
fit all 100 and whatever of them. That's great. Love those guys, though. Okay, here we go. We're going to run through the rest of it quick. We don't need to do much research. We've already went over our players, our teams, our divisions. We're going to go over each person's playoffs, who's going to win the division, the wild card, and who's going to be in the World Series and win the World Series. So I'm going to go to Josh, you first.
Okay.
So who's your division winners, your 2 wild cards, your World Series matchup, and your winner?
I'll take this one. So out of the AL East, we're going to go with the Red Sox. AL Central, we're going with the Indians, as we talked about. AL West, we're going to go with Houston. Then the NL West, we talked about the Rockies. NL Central, I'm going to Cardinals. And the NL East with the Mets. Wild
Oh
card
my
teams
gosh!
Thank you, Anthony. I know how excited you are about
I had a little scratch in my throat. I just had to clear it.
I know.
Hey, Anthony, how did that
your
Washington
wild-
Nationals pick work for you last year?
Go ahead.
I was asking Anthony how the Washington Nationals pick worked out for him last year.
Okay, no one should listen to me right now. Okay, no one should listen.
All right,
to me.
okay, Josh, back to you.
Go. Here we
Okay.
go.
Thank you. Wild card teams are going to be the Phillies and the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
And for the AL, we are going to go with the Yankees and the Angels.
Ooh.
And you said, what was my next question? The World Series?
Who's going to be in the World Series and who's going to win?
Understandable. Okay, it's going to be. I can't wait to hear this, but it's going to be Houston versus the Mets.
Oh!
Calm down, Josh. Calm down. Bookmark this episode, please. Bookmark this episode.
By the way,
You got it.
DMX's team to win the whole thing, the New York Mets.
Bro, he's from the Bronx. He's from the Bronx. He's a Yankees fan. There's no way he's going with the Mets. That's baloney.
Is DMX from the Bronx? Is that real? Do you even know?
He's from Yonkers. He's from somewhere from New York. I think it's Yonkers or the Bronx.
If he's from Flushing, he's a Mets fan.
I'm
That's
looking it up right
just
now.
Just say they're the World Series champions so we get it over with. Come on, Josh, say it.
World Series champs are going to be the Houston Astros.
He's from Mount Vernon, New York.
Oh, I know where that's
Mount
at.
Vernon. Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he's a Mets fan for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
my. He is now. He is now. Jeez Louise. Okay, so you got the Astros winning it all then,
Sentencing day for DMX.
Astros?
Hold on, guys. Sentencing day for DMX was changed so his lawyer and him can attend a Mets game.
Josh. No, it does not say that on there.
Sir.
Wow.
Yes, they do have the Astros winning it all.
Oh my God! So the Astros winning it all. That's awesome, man. I could be with you. We'll see. Anthony, who do you have?
Okay, so just going real quick. I got the Dodgers winning the division. I got the Cubs. I have the Nationals, who are realistically going to be the winners of that division. Houston, the Indians, and then I got the Red Sox. My 2 wild card teams on each side. I got the Yankees and the A's on the AL side, and then I got the Phillies and the Cardinals on the NL side. And rounding out the World Series, I got the Astros and the Nationals, my guys. I'm going to
Again,
double down.
You're going for it
doubling
again.
down.
1 year it's going to hit, says nobody who's a Padres fan.
Hey, just like Chris Berman, if you go with the 49ers and the Bills enough, eventually you'll always be wrong. So that's my strategy.
Yeah.
So
All right,
I
who
got the
wins?
Nationals, the Astros, and then winning it. I got the Astros winning it all this year too.
There you go. Okay, the Astros winning it all. They are loaded. That is for sure. I'm going to go with this. In the AL East, I'm going with the Yankees. In the Central, the Indians. And, of course, I'm going to Houston. In the West, my wildcard teams are the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. In the NL, I have the Mets. I have the Chicago Cubs. And I have the Colorado Rockies, with my wildcard teams being the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves. In my World Series, I have the Cubs playing the Yankees, with the Cubs winning the World Series. That's right, because it's never who you expect it to be. It's one thing I learned. It's never who you expect it to be. So I kind of went,
I think
okay.
you probably have a better chance of winning it.
So I said, Houston, they're the odds-on favorite to win it. And I said, I could see the Yankees getting there because their pitching will be healthy then, hopefully, and they have the better bullpen. And bullpens are huge in the playoffs. And I went, okay, the Mets are gonna whatever, and then the Colorado Rockies, but Colorado doesn't have the pitching. If it goes somewhere not Colorado in a 7-game series and they don't have home, I said, I expect in that division, the Chicago to probably have the best record in the NL. So it has to go through Wrigley. Just kind of cruising there to the World Series. I just the Cubs. I'm going Cubs over Yankees. And that is my prediction.
As long as the Yankees don't win it, I'm okay with that prediction.
That's why I chose the Cubs. I can't have Yankees winning.
Yeah.
They could,
If we're going,
but yeah.
At least you don't have the Mets in there. At least you don't have the Mets in there.
Hey, you know what? A few years ago, remember they got really far, and they made the World Series. Did you expect them that year to make the World Series when they lost to the Kansas City Royals? I bet not.
And guess who they had on their team, Anthony? The Dark Knight.
They did. All right, guys, we got to move on. Moving on to the player awards. You can see more of my awards. You can see more of my stuff that I've done if you go to FantasyAlarm.com. You get the draft guide. I did my bold predictions, including Rookies of the Year, the first 20-win season, first 200 Ks for the first time, 30 saves for the first time. I gave you my complete breakdown, over 20 players that I name that are in there that you could use, along with me and everybody else, including Rick Wolf, Howard Bender, everyone on the team. Check it out. If you guys, FantasyAlarm.com/draft now. Get the guide. Right now, you can get it for 25% off if you use promo code MADNESS for March Madness. And you save money on it, and check it all out and get ready for your drafts. Or you can go to MLB season and get everything you need for your full season for the whole year, including DFS, plays of the day, and playbooks and rankings and lineup optimizers and all that good stuff. If you use promo code Madness on that as well, that's also 25% off. It's just $75 for the full year. That's every day, all games, all players, all teams, making you a winner. Check that out. All right, we'll go AL. We'll go Rookies of the Year first. Josh, give me your AL and NL Rookies of the Year.
AL, I'm going to go with Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Okay, and your NL?
This is a tough one, but I like, and I think he's going to come out. It's going to be Tatis.
Tatis? All right, so chalk there, all chalk, which is fine. I mean, they are the two best prospects by far in baseball. Anthony, who do you got?
I'm gonna mimic Vlad Guerrero. I think once he gets a couple weeks off because of that whole Rule 5 thing, he's just gonna rake. This guy is a phenomenal prospect, and I think he's just gonna tear it up. And in the NL, I got Nick Senzel getting on that side. I wanted to go Peter Alonso, but then again, I'm a Mets hater all of a sudden, so I got to go away from that.
Love it. My original AL Rookie of the Year was actually Jesus Luzardo, but he's not going to be playing for a while. Pitching out, of course, with an injury for the A's. I really like him as a prospect. I'm actually going with Eloy Jimenez for the Chicago White Sox. He's going to play the whole year. He's starting off the team. He got that huge contract. I think he's going to be the bright spot of that team and just rake enough. And I think Vlad's going to come up. He's already has injury problems. He's going to face the better pitchers more in the AL East than Eloy will in the terrible Central. I like Jimenez there as mine. And my NL Rookie of the Year, Anthony already mentioned, I'm going Pete Alonso. I think he makes a team there on. This is also what I put in the Fantasy Alignment Draft Guide as well. Pete Alonso, I think he's going to make the team. He's going to be first base every day. He's going to hit bombs. He's going to bat in the middle of that lineup, which helps lead the Mets to the division-winning team in the NL East. That's right.
No,
Pete Alonso.
Gonna rake, but I don't think he's going to get. Okay.
All right, guys. Cy Young Award winners. Josh, who's your Cy Youngs?
I really had to look at this quite a bit. AL, I mean, you can't deny pitching right now. I'm going to go with Chris Sale for the AL. For the NL,
of course.
I mean, and NL, obviously, I think he just does it every year and always performs. You can't go away from Scherzer.
Yeah. Anthony, who do you got?
I'm going to go just oddball just because there's a lot of hype with him. I think this year he's really going to step it up. I'm going to go with Aaron Nola in the NL this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is he going to be there at the end? No, but I just think he's super exciting. I think that Phillies team is going to be really exciting. So I like Nola there. And the AL, he keeps getting better and better, especially with the World Series champion. But Garrett Cole, I think, is going to get in the AL and be Cy Young on that side.
Yeah, I'm going to go with I can't believe he hasn't won a Cy Young yet, and that's Chris Sale. I think this is his year. I think Chris Sale is going to do it this year for that Cy Young. And I think I have Matt Scherzer, he lost it last year to DeGrom, and I think Scherzer's going to just cruise again this year and get that Cy Young. Unfortunately, his team's not going to make the playoffs.
I like those picks.
Gosh.
All right, guys, AL and NL MVP. Josh, who do you got?
Oof. I'll let Anthony try to answer this first.
All right, well, I guess I'll go on the AL side. I'm just going to go just pretty much chalk Mike Trout. I think if you go Mike Trout most years, you're probably going to win most of them. Mike Trout's just a generational player, and I think with his contract, even though it's humongous, he's still going to ball out, 30-plus home runs, 30 steals, and high average. So I think Trout's a safe bet there. And the NL, I think just because, I don't know, you got this big contract. Sometimes I'm kind of worried about getting guys who get a big contract with these awards. But Nolan Arenado, I think, is going to win his first MVP on this side. So I got him on the NL side.
So you named two big people with big contracts.
Yeah. I started thinking about it. It's like sometimes don't make it more complicated. Just go with Matt Scherzer. Just go with the guys that are balling out. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Mookie Betts. I mean, obviously, I think back-to-back, he does it. I mean, the Red Sox are in talks right now to give him an extension, and I think he wants to show him that it's just not a one-year thing, that he's going to continue to prove it. And he did have that 30-30 year last year, and I think he continues that going into this year. Not saying he completely is 30-30, but he's going to get close. And then out of the NL, I'm going to go with a guy who's going to bounce back this year a little bit, and I think he's got a lot to prove, and I'm going to go with Chris Bryant.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Ooh, okay.
And that would go hand in hand with my Cubs winning the World Series.
There you go.
Boom. I like that. The favorite to win the NL MVP is Bryce Harper, just so everyone knows. And the favorite to win the AL MVP is Mike Trout. Chris Sale is the favorite to win the Cy Young, so is Max Scherzer. Tatis and Guerrero are also favorites to win the Rookie of the Year. My MVP in the NL, I agree with Anthony. I think it's Nolan Arenado's year. Got that contract behind him. Doesn't have to worry about free agency. You have no idea how big that is. And I expect big things from Colorado to win the NL West. outright big. I think it's all because of Arenado. In my AL MVP, I have the Yankees winning the one of the toughest divisions in baseball. I got Aaron Judge winning the AL MVP this year. I think he's going to have a huge year. Batting average is going to be up. Home runs, him and Stanton, going to be the Twin Towers knocking him out of the park there in New York. And I like Aaron Judge as my MVP. So there you have it, guys. There is my complete Anthony.
So you're going to call them the
Josh as well.
Balmer brothers?
No, I'm not. I'm not calling them that. Oh, because the Bronx Bomber Brothers? The
Yeah, there you go.
Triple B, Big Baller brand.
The Triple B.
Oh,
There you
the big baller brand. Come on now. Womp, 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 womp.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone that joined us tonight. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining as well, Anthony and Josh. Do you guys have any plugs or anything?
Yeah, all I got to say is go Mets.
That's at
right.
Zaragoza Anthony on Twitter. Josh, you got any plugs?
Just keep looking out for everything interesting sports and seeing what kind of things we're going to come up with for Edward via Twitter. So everyone look out. It's going to be a really fun time, and really want to hear some of your ideas as well.
Yeah, what am I not going to have to wear because the Dodgers are not going to win the division?
You're wearing a thong, my guy.
Oh,
You're wearing
my
a
goodness.
thong.
That could be one of them. That we'll
You don't
see.
wanna-
We're gonna brainstorm these four ideas.
I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose viewers. We want to still keep visitors. Like the Ass Clown was great because the ratings were up because I was talking sports, dressed like a clown, and not telling anybody why I was dressed like a clown or even acknowledging that I was dressed like a clown, which made it great.
What I want, I just want to see you and Rebecca go to Victoria's Secret and pick out a thong for you to throw on.
But you won't even be able to see it because you only see from the top up, unless I wear it like Borat.
Why do you want to see that? It's a better question.
Yeah, I'm not going to wear the thong like Borat. Although Borat could be one of the, maybe thong wearing Borat's one of them. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to see. We got a long way to go. Let's go. Let's get it together, guys. Let's get it together. Maybe it's a donkey. Maybe I gotta dress like a donkey. I don't know how that's possible, but it's there. Maybe one of them is just buying Dodger gear and coming out like a Dodger player.
That might be a good idea. Everyone, just keep throw some ideas our way and let us know.
I already mentioned the naughty nurse. There's
Naughty nerd.
maybe a French maid.
Yes.
Or just keep it in the States. Maybe an American maid.
American made. Oh man.
I mean, the idea is, just go to the spiritstore.com or type in ridiculous costumes and see what you guys can find.
Giant baby.
Giant baby. Pacifier and all. There you go. There's a good one. Does anyone know how to swaddle, though? Because I'm going to have to be swaddled.
People know how to swaddle. I don't know if they know how to swaddle a grown man. That's
Oh.
probably going to be the biggest thing.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, if you tuck someone in, I guess that's kind of swaddling in a way if they're older, I guess.
But you need hand motions at times during the show. We don't want to swallow you completely.
Correct. I need to be able I need to be able to bring DMX in on certain things. Yeah, see, he agrees. Yes. I'm just basking in it. That's all.
I'm just waiting for 6 months from now, and then when they win the division on the last day, to see that text from you like, "Fuck, I gotta do it again."
By the way, that's the first time Anthony has cussed on the show. Congratulations, Anthony.
Whoa!
You did it.
Oh, only on a special occasion. That's what it was, man. That was a special.
Ain't nobody
occasion.
got time for that.
Yeah. Well, again, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you guys agree, disagree. Tell us if you agree or disagree. This will be up tomorrow for replay as well. Watch the replay. Enjoy opening day. What a day. Opening day baseball all day. Basketball at night. The Sweet 16. as well. It's one of my favorite days in sports is opening baseball day. I mean, it's the best. You got barbecues going. You got baseball. You got every team has a chance except the Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates before the season starts. And Miami.
And the Marlins.
Let's not forget it.
Thank you.
Yes. The race for the first round pick is on. So enjoy. Next week, we're going to have headlines again. We're going to switch up formats. We only had the 2 big weeks with the tournament and the MLB season upon us. So next week, we got headlines. I think Interest We Sports, we had our draft over the weekend. We're going to have a podcast this week. On Wednesday, I think we're going to record it. We're going to talk about the teams, and we're going to go over each team and see who we think we're going to win and go over some strategies that we saw. We're going to talk about fantasy baseball and Interest We Sports on Wednesday night. That'll be out on Thursday. So enjoy that as well. Everyone have a good night. We'll see you next Monday. Enjoy sports. Enjoy life, guys. It's springtime, baby. This winter's gone. The summer's coming out. And that means you should always remember to spay and neuter your pets.